Hello, my name is Russ Timpson. I'm the founder of the Tall Building Fire Safety Network. What you're about to see is a video from our 2025 Tall Building Fire Safety Conference. You can find more other great videos on tall building fire safety on our YouTube channel, and there are many more presentations on our website, www.tallbuildingfiresafety. If you find our videos and presentations useful, please like and subscribe us on our YouTube channel. Halfway through the video, you're going to see details of our 2026 conference, which will take place in May in London. We have a fantastic program, and we also have a separate high-rise firefighting masterclass with Brent Brooks and special guests from around the world. There are also details of our 5-day intensive tall building fire safety management course, which will be running in London throughout 2026, but also in the Mediterranean, in Cyprus and in Malta. This is an ideal course for anybody who's dealing with fire safety matters in tall and complex buildings. So I hope you find these videos useful. And as we say in the Tall Building Fire Safety Network, go high and go well. Thanks.
I'm following those two very digital presentations. This is very analog.
Well, I mean, you've mentioned the golden thread, but I think just
The title is going to be a bit misleading today. So, Tennyson Suite has kind of developed a number of bits of AI, mostly because I am a computer nerd. That's realistically where this all stems from. Is that I have a passion for fire and safety and compliance, especially in buildings. But I also have a passion for computers. So realistically, this is more of a generic viewpoint of AI and how AI should be and can be utilised now, and how we can foresee AI is going to be utilised in the future, specifically within fire. So, speedy intro to Tennyson. So Tennyson Suite is a health and safety and fire safety engineering consultancy. It was started by my father way back, and he dragged me straight into the business. We support various clients, some government departments, some PLC developers, and all the way down to sort of our small residential management companies and small developers. We're striving to find technological solutions to compliance issues, specifically in health and safety and fire scenarios. So what is AI? Now, I think we've all heard, especially over the past year or so, with the sort of growth of OpenAI and AI solutions, and realistically why they're mentioned at conferences all the time, is AI is coming for our jobs, it's coming for everything that we know, everything's going to change, which is probably not too far off. But AI is realistically a computer program that helps machines think. It turns what we used to have, which was very much very simplistic. We had an input, we did something with it, we had a very specific output that came out of that input, and we've manipulated that process in the middle. So now computers are able to take their own decisions and make their own movements based upon a given input. So realistically, to simplify it down, AI has learnt from examples. AI models have been trained on billions of pieces of information. Realistically, the entire internet, as part of the biggest problem of AI at the moment, is now we're trying to figure out how we can create more information that it can then learn off of. It helps to find patterns. Again, machines are incredibly good at finding patterns, more so than every human that has ever existed. And it's good at making predictions. It's very good at taking information that we already have and then pushing it to other scenarios and making a prediction as to what might happen. So AI is the new junior member of our team at this moment in time. This is happening in the computer industry, in the software industry. We're finding that software industries are reducing how many people they're employing at grassroots level by 60%, because AI is taking over what they used to do. So realistically, for the fire industry, that's where it currently is. The fire industry, we used to have our office junior who had come in and had started to learn about fire and safety and elements. AI is that new junior member, and it's able to undertake tasks autonomously. quite simple tasks at the moment, but every single day that is getting more and more. They're becoming more and more complex. But it gets to do it autonomously without input from senior members of staff. It just does the thing that we tell it to do, and because it's a computer, it doesn't say no. Well, not yet, at least. However, like a junior team member, we need to be clear and specific with AI. We can't simply say, oh, please can you write me a fire strategy for this building, it's down the road, and it trots off and has a look. I mean, maybe in the future, but at the moment we need to be very specific. So how can AI help? And this is where, again, my incredible nerdiness for computers starts to really flow, is that there are so many, and even this morning, what we've heard, I mean, specifically just what we heard just then around, fractional effective dosage and toxicity, is that there are so many facets to fire safety as a singular component of buildings that we are, and I think the whole industry is currently struggling to keep up with what is currently coming out in research and applying that to all of our buildings. So realistically, I kind of see it in these sort of four components. So a quality element, an efficiency element, an assurance element, and an insights element. So very quickly, quality, from a quality perspective, reduction of human error. Now, if any of you have used AI recently, you probably have asked it something. It's then given you completely the wrong answer with completely the wrong references and said completely the wrong thing. Well, that is a benefit of us realistically putting in the wrong instructions in the first place, usually asking it the wrong thing. That's not to say it doesn't do it wrong every now and again, but greater accuracy in predicting potential scenarios. So again, we as humans are shaped by our experience. I'm very fortunate to work with a number of people who are ex-fire service personnel who you say, well, I think this is the likely scenario. And they go, no. Actually, when I went to a fire, it did this. And again, Grenfell was the perfect example of that. We had an expectation of what was about to happen. That didn't go how we thought it would. Automatic visual checking of design. So our computers now have a visual capability. They now can look at something like we would look at a drawing and start to make assumptions and start to make decisions about what it sees. And then enhanced documentation, high precision, and it being more easily auditable. Again, we've spoken a lot this morning about the BSR, about BSR applications, about how we're going to go through building safety cases. Well, the struggles that we're seeing is realistically being able to describe something to somebody else in a way that they understand. And that also comes down to our resident engagement. So then we move on to efficiency, and this is the one that is constantly being talked about in the news, is that everything's going to be super quick. If you want something done, it will be done yesterday. It will probably be done before you thought about it being done. Our speed of production will inevitably be quicker. One of the massive challenges that the fire industry has got at the moment is we do not have enough people, and it's quite apparent from our discussion and our panel this morning. There is not enough people who are qualified and competent to make these decisions, who are able to actually churn out the amount of work to keep the industry moving. Now, realistically, when we talk about speed of production, there's still going to be the human element. There's still going to be that expert who's sat there, whether that be a chartered engineer, whether that be, whoever it may be. They're still going to have to make that final decision. But if we can take out all of the easy stuff that runs up to it, we allow them to deal with the complexity. So we also then end up with the joys of near elimination of non-technical QA. I mean, we've all had a document proofread, it then be chucked back at us with a lot of red lines over it. That doesn't exist with AI. AI is inevitably nearly perfect because it's read nearly everything that is available to it. Technical detailing, realistically, can near be automated. So again, when we're writing strategic documents about what we want a certain product to be, what in relation to, how we want a certain product to exist, well, that can be automatically dragged in. And all of the information and evidence that supports it can also be dragged in by the AI system straight into our strategy. Human touch points can be limited, inevitably, again, to our process approach, our initial input, and our technical review at the end. So assurance. So we have a number of people in here today who are from regulatory authorities, London Fire Brigade. Inevitably, we're in a position where technical review, especially again at a basic level, can be automated and completed against all available guidance. That includes research papers that have just been published that no one has yet had the time or the joy of reading. The automated checking of assumptions is simply every report that I've ever seen that is ever worth its salt has got assumptions and what our limitations are. Well, it can automatically turn around to you and say, well, why are you assuming that? Why are you making that assumption in any given scenario? Verification of any calculated elements. Again, being a computer, they are incredibly good at maths. Most language models can beat out every single person in regards to mathematics. We're actually having to get professor-level mathematicians to generate new questions because it's already solved all of the rest of them that are out there. And verification of design detail against strategy. So that's combining our written element with our drawn element. Right, I've got strategy here, and here's my design from my architectural pack. Do they match up? One of the other benefits is, again, insights, and I kind of briefly touched on this, is that research is coming out all the time. We, as the fire industry, are unbelievably and unprecedentedly busy. There are more things to do now, with more documentation, with more evidence required than ever before. Now, that means that we don't have the time to look at what is very important research. Again, my previous speaker, exactly that is a critical piece of what we should be assessing. But before this very communication here, a number of people would not have had an understanding of what it even meant. And realistically, we can get AI to make the link between guidance, approved document B, or any of our other British standards, and then various knowledge bases. So again, research papers or any findings from previous fires, etc., etc. So where are we now? Very important question. So as of about 18 months ago, Tennyson Suite went on a full AI push, is that we started developing systems that used AI to help us deliver parts of what we did. And that was speeding up basic processes. I'm very proud to announce that actually our quality management system is pretty much 90% AI based. There is all of the back end of our quality management system is AI. So this is kind of where we've come up to, is that, and as you can see, it is a test. It is not perfect. It is still not used for creating strategies at this moment in time. But what we end up with is the back end of an AI system. Now this is OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, probably the one that you've all heard about. We've created a custom GPT that helps to write fire strategies. Now, as you can see, I've created a custom one here today for if we were to turn this into a lovely residential building. And hopefully, if technology is on my side, it'll work. So this is just a prompt that has been created. It's a certain input. Again, our AI models work on an input, a process, and an output. So we've already given the back end of this model the process. It knows what it needs to do with specific information. So inevitably, it's not vastly exciting to watch, I will give you that. But it shows you the speed of which we can actually produce things. Is that it sits there, and a document that would take, any fire safety professional potentially hours or days, or potentially weeks, we can now start to automate and speed up. Now, again, there are certain, obviously most of our fire strategies don't have stars in, we'll leave it at that, but you can see the speed at which we can produce documentation, and we can cut out that basic level of what needs to be in any given documentation and leave, realistically, the complex parts. Now, again, still in development. Don't shoot me if there's anything wrong when you look at it later. So we're in a position now where we end up with these sort of comparisons, and we very much are, it's not what it was 18 months ago. Things have moved on substantially, and we're now at the position where, yes, it's competing with us very closely. So from an efficiency point of view, as we just mentioned, we've got days of research and development and documentation versus what was realistically about 90 seconds. Now, it took me probably about 8 weeks with a number of colleagues to help develop that system to get to where we are. But once that effort has been put in, once that we're moving forward into that direction, we can start getting those outputs, and we just iterate. Now, error. Now, this is the big one. Now, humans, as much as we like to think that we're completely infallible, we'll never make a mistake, and I've had plenty of people who tell me they've never made a mistake, we have about a 20% error rate. And we do QA, we do human-led QA, because every time we do a human-led QA, that person also has a 20% error rate. And the more times we QA, the closer we get to perfect. Now, AI has noted an approximate 12% error rate, but our errors are different. Whereas humans are, and I like to say it because I am quite lazy, we miss because we skim. We're tired. It's been a long week. I've had the 5th client phone call of today telling me that they need us yesterday. So what are the differences? Well, we work, it's present in both of our systems, but inevitably human error is oversight and inconsistency, and AI error is irrelevancy. Is it telling you, well, yeah, you're absolutely within your travel distances, but have you thought about the sprinkler system? And you go, yeah, but I don't want you to talk about the sprinkler system yet. I want you to deal with what I'm talking to you about. And it's trying to be too clever. It's merging information in a way that is unsuitable for the scenario it's given. So that's where we are now. Every single week there is a new version of an AI system that is doing better and better and better. And we're moving closer towards the artificial general intelligence. Now, artificial general intelligence is where computers are generally better than the majority of the population at any given thing, which includes fire safety. So the way that we see it at Tennyson is that AI is going to work across the life cycle of any given building. And that will be from our designing element. Yep, fine. All of our plans are fine. All of our designs are fine. We've created lots of lovely documentation for the regulator to look at. But we then look at it and see that actually it can be used in various different other formats, which is resident engagement, or again, telling people who are non-technical why we're doing something. Because that's what AI is good for, is that you say, here's my very complex, detailed fire strategy. And we say, we want to talk to our residents as to how we are going to manage their building. We want to tell them in a way that they'll understand. And that can be via different language, that could be via video, that could be via audio, that could be via, actually, we want to tell all of our 5-year-olds in our HRBs how they're going to deal with fire. And AI simply takes that and puts it in a format that those people can understand. Inevitably, we end up in the fact that actually our life cycle can actually be fully managed by AI. And that's our future. Now, the fire industry and the construction industry, we're well known for not bringing in technology quick enough, we haven't got a choice. This is coming, it's happening now. And if we don't accept it, first off, we'll be overrun. And second off, we'll be so far behind the rest of the world that actually we might as well just give up, because your resident will know more about fire than you will. So realistically, the efficiency in AI is consistently being improved. What took potentially days last year takes 90 seconds now. And that rate of improvement is actually only getting more. What was taking 90 seconds now is likely to take probably 0.1 of a second in a year's time. Now, an error, realistically, as we just said, we're moving towards AGI, moving towards like artificial general intelligence and the ability for it to outperform any of us at near enough any task. We need to be on the fighting side of that, which is actually we need to have understood it and be working towards using it and integrating it into all of the work that we do.